I never want to do this again. I don't wish this on anybody. A week after the cameras shut down, I was in a public preview with Warner Brothers and Amblin. And 2 weeks after that, which means 3 weeks from the day we shut the cameras down, we were in theaters around the country.
In the list of great sports movies, The Little Giants rarely gets its due. But when you consider the time constraints that were placed on the film by the NFL and the studio, it's nothing short of a miracle that the film was completed at all. This is the story of how director Dwayne Dunham and his crew pulled a victory from the jaws of defeat. This is The Little Giants. Director Dwayne Dunham.
Little Giants had a very long incubation period where we went through rewrite after rewrite. And it was not the best thing for that movie to have done that, but that's what happened. When I first came to it, it was a story about two brothers who competed in everything in their life. One was a football player at USC, and the other played football at Notre Dame. So one had a sand and gravel company called USC, or the initials USC, and the other had National Driveway, so Notre Dame. So that rivalry was between the two brothers, and it always seemed flat to me. It seemed like, I don't know, I'm more interested in the kids, and our conversation led to the children, and then one day I said, okay, I got it. This just came to me. This is a story about the kids who never get picked. And the clincher is the kid, the best athlete in town, is a girl. And she doesn't get picked because she's a girl. And that just comes from my own experience, because my daughter, who's a professional basketball player today, she went ever since a very young age. She could kick the boys' butt. She was an exceptional athlete. She was always the best athlete in the group, truly an elite athlete. Played at a high level in soccer and volleyball and basketball and anything she wanted to do. And I remember once my son was probably, fifth or sixth grade, and we had a party at the park, and they were going to play football, and my daughter, of course, was there 2 years younger. And so my son and another kid were singled out to do the picking, and I thought I was very quiet, and I said, now, Todd, when you pick, please pick your sister. And I just meant it because I didn't want to see her get left out. But I didn't realize that all the boys had heard this, and they said, no way, that's not fair. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they said, you can't put those two on the same team. That's not fair. So Becky, the icebox, the inspiration was my daughter. The movie's special because Becky is my daughter. Only my daughter was never not picked, but in certain ways, girls are not picked because boys have this macho thing about, I'm a boy and you're a girl and you can't beat me. Oh, yes, they can, and they do. Once we said it's a story about the kids who don't get picked, then it became very clear, because you always want to be able to define, what is your story about? What is the story? Well, this is simple. It's about the kids who don't get picked. And then when you bring in the other element, and by the way, the best athlete in town is a girl, and she doesn't get picked because she's a girl. That's unfair, and that's not right. And immediately you get the audience on her side and the other goofballs.
When you hear your name called, I want you to go over to Coach Butts, and I want you to pick up your jersey.
Those jerseys are so cool.
For everyone who has waited to be chosen,
Lewis.
but is still waiting.
Rivera.
For everybody who has dreamed of being somebody,
Scanlon.
but is still dreaming.
Walker.
For every person who only wanted that one chance,
For the rest of you,
but never got it.
I'd like to thank you for trying out.
Your day has come.
I think it's probably the sounding board for so many of, kids' pictures like that. It's Bad News Bears. Bad News Bears is so simply, it's a simple story. It's just so well done. The characters are very, very not only identifiable, but great care was taken to draw the right ensemble group of characters, and then you cast accordingly. And so that's what we did with Little Giants. Once you say it's the kids who never get picked, you just go through your mind and you remember all that stuff. And that story then was driven by, I don't know that this is always the best way to go about it, but I had this image of the Becky character playing in that championship game in a cheerleader outfit, because you're gonna tell her she can't play because she's a girl. She's just gonna pull a helmet on with the one uniform that so says girl, and that cheerleading outfit. Pull your helmet on, buckle up, and go get them. A lot of people argued and said, no, she's got to change, and how could the girl play? And it's not happening, guys. She's coming out of there with a skirt on. There's no time to change. She's got business to take care of. Just let it happen.
Hi.
You sure you want to do this, Becky?
Call me Icebox. Hey, Icebox. Kick some butt. Call me Becky.
Amblin was good. They provided the proper resources and support. But you know what? Steven jumped in, and he was hands-on, very helpful to just get us through, kind of the mix. And he was there. He was not absentee. He was involved. What was really, really difficult, and it was difficult for everybody, and that is the NFL was shopping the studios, and our script wasn't ready to shoot. And it was very long, and it wasn't quite right. And, so remember what Lucas told me. And I got a call it was Warner Brothers and Amblin. Really, who was running the day-to-day was Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers called and said, hey, got good news and bad news. And I said, okay, what's the good news? The NFL is going to give us $17 million to make this movie. And I said, well, that's wonderful. What's the bad news? Well, the bad news is it has to be in the theaters to coincide with the opening of this coming season's football season. And I said, wait a second. This is already the first part of May. We're in like the first week of May, and you're telling me we got to be in the theaters the first week of October? Yeah. So it was nuts. I never want to do this again. I don't wish this on anybody. A week after the cameras shut down, I was in a public preview with Warner Brothers and Amblin. And 2 weeks after that, which means 3 weeks from the day we shut the cameras down, we were in theaters around the country. That's insane.
Okay, guys, listen up. We still got a shot out there, okay? A couple of things go differently for us. We're in it. We can do it.
Yeah, we really creamed him by showing up. We quit. So call us if you decide to coach softball.
What about the second half?
Tell him we can't come out.
Yeah. Put us on the injured list.
Yeah.
You know, there's something you guys should know. When I was 10 years old, I put myself on the injured list. I never got off.
Why?
Because I didn't get picked a few times. So I started hiding under the bleachers.
That's where we belong, under the bleachers.
No, you don't. You guys belong out there with those cowboys. You know how I know that? Because I belong out there with my brother.
Give us a break, Coach. You can never beat Kevin O'Shea at anything.
No, that's not true. I did beat him once.
When?
When we were kids. We used to race our bikes down Cherry Hill every day after school. We'd race every day, and he'd always beat me. But one time, I beat him.
You beat Kevin down Cherry Hill?
Yes, I did. He ate my dust.
Big deal. One time. You know, one time at Randy Cooper's swim party, I did a backflip off the high dive, and my brother chickened out. Roger chickened out? He's a Marine.
Aw, that's nothing. One time in spring carnival, I beat both my brothers in the cow dung toss.
You beat Matt and Brad in the turd toss? You know, one time I went fishing with my entire family, and I was the only one that didn't throw up. So what? That still doesn't make us good football players.
Wait a second, guys. Whoever said you had to be good to play football? You play football because you want to. You play football because it's fun. You play football so you can go out there and pretend that you're Joe Montana throwing a touchdown pass or Emmitt Smith going for a long run. And even if those Cowboys are better than you guys, even if they beat you 99 times out of 100, that still leaves
One time.
One time. Yeah. One time.
It's hard to come up with those kind of rallying speeches. You know, it happens in military, it happens in locker rooms, and I don't know that there was any real inspiration for it, but the genesis was, this is a group of kids who never get picked. Therefore, they never have the opportunity to prove themselves. And so just one time, go out there and show them that you can do it. These kids have they've never been allowed on the stage to show what they have. This is your time. Just one time, do it and make it happen. It was a little nerve-wracking because I didn't know who was going to show up until, I believe it could have been late the night before. So I didn't know who was showing up. So I didn't really know what I was going to shoot with these guys. And we didn't even know we were going to get them. So it was like all through the night, I'm trying to come up with things to shoot that would be, you know, appropriate for each of these NFL players. And John Madden, of course, that was easy. And bang! And, you know, that was easy. But they were only there for one short day. And I think they had fun. And the kids really loved it. And we all had fun with those guys around. It was pretty great. Right. And then, you know, I'm trying to think. The running back, that's terrible of me. Number 22, Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith boards the bus, and you can hardly hear it, but he says, "Later, Vader." So referring to the kid who had the Vader mask, but he really did it for me.